Greetings and salutations, Fantasy League of Ordinary Gentlemen. It is I, your very beleaguered, upset, angry, mind-numbed, dead inside commissioner, Joe Johnson. And it was a bad week in all my leagues. And the injuries, whoever said it, I agree with you now. I thought that the COVID year with the injuries, that was bad. It was. No, let's not kid ourselves. No, this year now is just the worst injury prone year of all time that I can remember. I think, Grog will tell you about my spiels with concussions. You can go and watch any of my episodes from years past, and the days of going back into a game and scoring a Super Bowl winning touchdown, Terrell Davis, Broncos, with a concussion. Yeah, those days are over. Thank you, lawyers. We appreciate you. Not. So, when we examine some of the games from week 6, let us understand that will explain some of the scores. However, I'm down. I'm down on myself right now. I don't want to take away that there were 6 other owners, technically 7 if we include Grok. I guess he does compete and he did get a win. But owners who got wins that are very happy, much needed. And I will say there were some people that you needed to lose. If you were me, you needed them to lose so that difference in where everyone is standing still stays where it's at. The status quo, if we will stay balanced. And that certainly was the case here in week 6. So, you know the drill. We hope you're enjoying the show. We hope you're enjoying the sultry sounds that is the voice of Joe Johnson. And so take a moment, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Get us out there. We really do appreciate it. But then more importantly, find something to eat. Find something to drink. Push out all the distractions. Turn up the volume on your listening device, because for the next 45 minutes, we're going to talk fantasy, gents, football. And what better way can we start with a team who's also finding a little struggles with injuries and just maybe things not panning out the way we thought they were. But that is our game 1 of week 6. Evan Coles taking on Derek Ash. And it is I think this is the closest line of victory yet. You may have won by a couple of points, but less than 0.5 points, 0.44 if we want to be technical. That which shall not be named finds victory yet again here against one of our top opponents. And we'll just go ahead. Baker Mayfield, huge day. Finally, you're starting him. Good job, Evan, because Patrick Mahomes isn't even a top 15 quarterback right now. Najee Harris doing things Najee was doing 2 years ago or more. Big boom play from Javonte Williams or Jameson Williams, 3 receptions, and that, it's just like a Rashid Shaheed situation here. 3 receptions, 76 yards, gets that touchdown. Even Justin Tucker hits double digits. It's 103.7. We'll talk about that defensive slot here in just a moment. And we're struggling, Derek. I feel you, sir. Quarterback position not working out. Anthony Richardson, Joe Flacco was not the Joe Flacco. Would have had maybe a couple more points had he not thrown the interception. But Derrick Henry held your day and is a staple of this team. Bucky Irving does get the double-digit points here. Amon St. Brown, not the day that you wanted. Kind of got vultured by Williams there, if you want to think of it that way. Only gets the 13 points and 4 points, man. Look at that. 4 points does make a difference here. Nice pickup with Mike Williams, and it really could have been a better day with Marvin Harrison Jr. getting a concussion literally at the very beginning of the game. But then Green Bay just absolutely strangled Arizona there. Jake Ferguson, big let you down, and just nothing. I mean, the whole back half of your team doesn't do much. Still scores over 100 points, so I couldn't even do that. And Evan, you get to pull a player, so didn't even have to beat Derek with 9 guys, which makes you our official very first 2024 fancy gentleman.
Look at this distinguished gentleman.
So congratulations on that fancy gentleman win. And, don't get it twisted. You're still a garbage piece of shit whom I have to smell across town from my window that overlooks the pool and my beautiful view. You offend me. You dishonor your family. You dishonor the league. Do fucking better. But hey, this is a good way to start. Derek, man, you lost to Forever and Clean. Get it together, son. Now, don't get me wrong. I say first because it's on my list of games that I cover, so I have to go in some kind of order. We can call it that both owners get the fancy gentleman win. But here in game 2, Brennan Scala takes on Jack Little Raven, and it's a low-scoring affair. Not really good. You probably could have scored over 100 points. It would have come close, depending on who you would have played. But you didn't have to. So, when we thought you were probably going to win this one, Jack, you're struggling 1-5, not good. We'll start with Brennan here. Lamar Jackson would have had the 20 points had he not thrown the interception. Zach Moss fumbles the ball. It was a 50-50 split up until that, and then he was benched, and Chase Brown is looking like he is taking over this role, and I think after this game will probably have the starting job. He's was doing more with less, and now I think Zach Moss may have been relegated to the RB2 role. CeeDee Lamb, that's what you were missing. Drake London, Noah Fant. I mean, the wide receiver core comes together in this game. But then it's right back down. George Pickens 8, San Francisco defense 8. I mean, Aubrey 12, you like that. Like I said, probably could have scored over 100 points, but you pull a player, which also makes you a fancy gentleman.
Look at this distinguished gentleman.
And so, Jack, yeah, it's a disappointing loss. The struggles are real. Hey, you're not the only one in the boat. Your record's just a little worse, but there's still plenty of football. It's the one thing that's nice about playing fantasy and following the NFL. It's not like college football. We've got an extra 5 weeks to get things together. Kirk Cousins, 12 points. Travis Etienne, injury, goes negative in this one, and not that it was a horrible negative. It's just no points. Justice Hill, desperation play, nothing. And then Jamar Chase doesn't have his to the moon 40-point day. DK Metcalf 7. Evan Ingram was actually your best player overall with 18 points. DJ Moore, well back down to earth. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I just can't depend on anything in the Bears, even though Caleb Williams has a 28-point day. I don't care if you couldn't do it against Carolina and Jacksonville. I mean, you're not playing the game. So we'll see what happens when. I mean, and you see what happens, with other players. I mean, DeAndre Swift has a big game here, but I still am just not willing to trust too many things in Chicago just yet. Seattle goes negative on you as well. McPherson is just not a lot to talk about here in this game. But hey, Brendan, you'd rather have the low point win than the high point loss. So the winning streak continues. Congratulations, fancy gentlemen. And both you guys, better luck next week. Game number 3 features Jonathan Andrews taking on cousin of the commissioner, Josh Johnson. And this one was close. But once Breece Hall entered the game and finally does what you drafted him to do. It was all she wrote, and Jonathan Andrews gets another win. This one 116 to 107, and it's another low-scoring day from Gino. Throws 2 interceptions in this one, so almost was a serviceable day if it wasn't for that. But like we said, it's the running back core that gets it done. Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, 20 and 21, and what really is the thing here is Kenneth Walker only has 32 yards on the ground, and he gets the touchdown. So if we do the math on that, that's 9 points. Well, he's got 11 more points still out there, and that's coming with the connection with Gino there. So even if you look at it between Gino and Kenneth Walker alone, that's 30 points between 2 people, and that is something that you like. And then you're going to throw in JSN. There's another 10 points. So between 4 players, you're getting 40-plus points. That's what you traded into. It doesn't matter. All you need is Gino to score 12 points. So good on you there. T. Higgins, 7 for 77. You like the double digits. Brock Bowers, who I think will finish as tight end 1, even though, McBride is having a good year as well. I mean, the rookie is just having an absolute god, man. And then so many people, I'm so sick and tired of watching other fantasy podcasts talking about if you took Brock Bowers in the late rounds, then, you're just winning your league. And it's like, in both of my leagues, Brock Bowers went in the 6th round. Pretty sure that's when you picked him up there, Jonathan. I'm almost positive. Maybe he was in the 5th round. I know there was no late round picking up on Brock Bowers. And I know that I may be crazy here. You know what? I'll look at it. Let's just look at him. Brock Bowers, 86th overall pick in the draft. So yeah, well before the round 9s and 12s that other people were getting Brock Bowers, which tells you the intelligence and the difficulty of the Fantasy League of Ordinary Gentlemen. Continuing going, D-Hop, nice little flex play pickup, 4 for 54. Denver's defense comes back down to earth, but still, I mean, we're killing it. 2 points there. McLaughlin, 9. It's 116. It's enough. And Josh, it's not really a bad day. You like the production. You would have liked a little bit better. You're just missing a touchdown or 2. And you had things go your way this week. You're just disappointed with the loss here. Jared Goff, 25, exactly what you needed in the trade. Things were slow, but they're picking up, and this is why you traded for Jared Goff. J.K. Dobbins, there you go, 18 points after it's been pedestrian. We were wondering for a minute, was it just those 2 weeks? Jordan Mason, this is where you're missing touchdown. You're missing a little volume here. He gets banged up. Stop starting Amari. Well, now you are starting Amari Cooper. We're going to talk about that in week 7. But up into this, I've told you, I mean, it's 8 points, but you've got 2 other wide receivers that had you started them, you win this game, and all you had to do was listen to me. Again, I love you, brother. I love you. And look, man, Alan Lazard, kind of boomer bust, and you've got Madison there as well, who you can't depend on Las Vegas for shit. But I'm just saying, I'm starting Alan Lazard over Amari Cooper prior to the trade. That would definitely happen. So, don't beat yourself up. I understand. Look, where you invest in, you got to start who you got to start. 19 points. Yeah, Deontay Johnson doing his thing. This is where it really hurts. Goddard gets injured, goes out of the game. Combine that with A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith being back, 0. Big old goose egg. And you have to think this game gets real interesting if that doesn't happen. Austin Eckler, I mean, you did great. Flex play, it beats his flex play, 10.8. It's it's over a whole point more. So excellent. You're not disappointed with the Eckler play. Buffalo's defense, 11. Like I said, man, you like the production. You don't like the outcome. Good luck to both gentlemen next week. In our next game, defending champion Austin Allen continues his reign of terror. This time, his opponent was Austin Felch. It's not even close, 121 to 99. And you know what? We've never had, I always talk about this. It's just a matter of time. We've never had an undefeated team all the way through, and we've never had a back-to-back champion. Of course, we do have the three rookies, you being one of them, who were able to win a Super Bowl. But we've had someone win a Super Bowl. We've had a rookie win a Super Bowl, go to a Super Bowl his second year. He lost that game, and then actually goes to a Super Bowl third year in a row and wins it. So we've had that. But we've never, ever, ever, ever had anyone win back-to-back. We've never had anyone go undefeated, and we've never had anyone go winless, Brock. So there is hope. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. But before we get there, we'll go talk about this shellacking. And, there you go. C.J. Stroud, 18 points. Saquon Barkley, not a great day. His worst game of the year, 7 points. Gibbs there, 12. Yeah, so the running back core, not the big the big day here, and you've got to wonder, Jahmyr Gibbs gets outpaced by David Montgomery again, at least when it comes in fantasy points, and David Montgomery having quite a year, and what a pickup. We'll talk about that when we get to you, Chandler. Stephon Diggs and Devonta Smith, your whole wide receiver core comes together to win you this game. The trade definitely paying off, even though it was only 3 receptions, 64 yards, and a touchdown. You like that. George Kittle, huge day. 2 touchdowns on 5 receptions for 58 yards, 22 points. Wan'Dale Robinson even finds double digits with 5 receptions for 10 points. Chicago even goes double digits. So it was a solid day, 120. Love to see it. And, Aaron, when you see 99 points, that's low. It's not good. You don't like you want to see more. And there was some production. You got goose egged. There was some last minute. I tried to message you. I tried to call you, brother. I was like, I could use my league manager powers to change it, but I can't. Just because I can do something doesn't mean I will do something or even should do something. And I tried to call and warn you, and that's something I try. I don't want you to hear me say that I try and call anybody. I do that for everybody in the league. If I notice I think the one thing our league, I don't know if it's maybe to get at people or to let them know I'm going to steal your player or your handcuff or what have you. But I actually do feel the one thing that we do here in Fantasy Gents is we're all pretty open about who's getting injured. And I think it's more to, point out like, oh, your team is now going to suck. But we do a good job of pointing out injuries. You can go and check your message. If someone's not going to play last minute or whatever, I'm on top of that. I always try and reach out to whoever that is. So I did, Aaron, try and reach out to you, brother, and let you know that, Flacco's playing, start Pittman. There's 12 points, man. That at least gets you to like 110. You're within 11. And then I think instead of playing Calvin Ridley, we would have had a conversation. Unfortunately, there's just no one that you really have to fill that second hole. And then we talk about Mike Gesicki. This is just a rough week, man. No Kyron Williams. You're dealing with some injuries. So just, it's a suck loss, man. Not a lot to talk about here. Other than Jalen Hurts, you like to see that. Tony Pollard without Tajay Spears in the mix has a great day. This is the kind of production you want to see from Joe Mixon, but they just traded away Cam Akers, so I don't know what that means to tell you, but you definitely have the backup. You have the backup to Joe Mixon now, so you're definitely not dropping Ogun Boale there. You're just looking for more production there in week 7. And Austin, man, the terror continues, sir. I guaranteed you that in week 6, by the end, somebody was going to have a win. We would have one team that was winless by the time this game was over. And that is 100% the case. And I will say, Brock, the score line is deceiving. It is 106 to 116, so it's over a 10-point win, but that was not guaranteed. Let us understand that you had control of this game. Things looked well into your favor. Tajay Spears gets injured, 2 points. We knew Justin Herbert wasn't going to have a great day, 13 points. I think you're happy. The touchdown, the 230 against Denver's D, you're okay. Okay. Jalen Warren was disappointing. It was all the Najee Harris, Rico Dowdle, and that was just atrocious. But then it wasn't like Forrest ran away with it. Daniel Jones only had 11. Slayton only had, 11, no touchdowns. So it's like you're facing 22 points. It wasn't unmanageable. And then, Keenan Allen has this huge day. Your kicker has running back numbers. Things were manageable. You scored 106 points. You're right there. You're out all these players. There's nothing you would have done differently. You score more than me. How about that? And yet, Forrest steals this one. Just everything comes together. Tyler Algier, and you knew you had to play him against Carolina. 105 yards and a touchdown. Debo doing what you drafted him. It's heart of the cards. This is why Forrest is heart of the cards, Dozier. Tank Dell, this may be really what it is, and that is no Nico Collins. Tank Dell, 7 receptions, 57 yards, and a touchdown. K. Dotton, great play. Finds the end zone off of two receptions. It would have been a 3.5 day, a 3.5 point day for K. Dotton, but he finds the end zone. Slayton, we talked about the Chargers defense, hold and Seibert scores 14. It's 116. It's a win. And the things we take away is Forrest, this keeps you alive. If there is ever a hope that you would make it back to the playoffs, it starts now. Okay. You actually are trending up for what it's worth. And then Brock, one mathematical win. Now your playoff hopes are almost non-existent. They're probably, if I went and checked, it's probably less than 1% or at 1% because it can't go lower than 1%. However, it can go to 0, but you're not mathematically eliminated until you take that 7th loss. So you're hanging on by a fingernail, but I've seen it happen. And I already know. If they're out there wondering if Brock Hudgens' hierarchy is going to give up the show, no. Brock understands the assignment, as the youngins like to say. He's out there to ruin seasons. He's out there to destroy playoffs hopes. He knows that there's draft positions to play for. Okay, you can still be best of the worst. So much to look forward to. Better luck for you, Brock, and then Forrest. Like I said, it starts now, brother. It starts now. I told you that Game 6 between Jordan and Chandler was going to be good. It ends up being the single best game of the week. It was absolutely sensational. I should have made a game of the week, but how did I know that Bourbon Bowl was going to go the way it was? So this game, unbelievably high scoring. Chandler, you put up 158 points. It's the most points, I believe, of any owner at this point in time, surpassing the 150 points scored by Jonathan towards the beginning of the year. I believe he was at 153, so you passed that by about 5 points. And this was another game that necessarily wasn't just, guaranteed. I mean, Jordan was fighting the whole way. We'll start to break down Jaden Daniels, who is the clear quarterback 1 in fantasy at this point in time. Chuba Hubbard having another great day. When Jonathan Brooks comes back, it's going to be a sad day. Trey Sermon gets injured, and looks like he only got 2.9 points. And Goodson's looked a little better, I must admit, in the role. A.J. Brown does exactly what you had drafted him to do, what you've been dealing without for so many weeks. 6 receptions, 116 yards, and a touchdown, 23 points. Saves your day, whatever it could have been. But you mean 125 points, you're gonna beat almost every owner this week, even the ones that scored 116-ish points. Mooney comes back down to earth a little bit here with 6 points. Dalton Kincaid, hey, all of his is double digits. And I can actually say this, It wasn't more than Mark Andrews this week. So, but did we start Mark Andrews? No, we didn't. We'll talk about it. Tyrone Tracy, another great day. Looks way better than Singletary. 50 yards, a touchdown, and he may end up having this job. Tampa Bay's defense, great pickup and play, a touchdown, 2 interceptions, fumble recovery, 17 fantasy points. Will Lutz a kicker. It's a great day, Jordan. Classic. You love the production. You don't like the outcome, and this is why you always hate the high point loss over the low point win. And, you should have won. But Chandler says, no, I'm not, don't take anything away from me, Commissioner. I did what I was supposed to do. I put in the work, and Chandler, almost every single player on your team scores 20 or more points. Brock Purdy, 24 points, 255 yards, 3 touchdowns. Bijan Robinson, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns, 25 points. DeAndre Swift, 91 yards and a touchdown, 21 points. Zay Flowers, everything is just, you're blossoming. You're a blooming flower. You know, the trade watered and fertilized. You're happening. Zay Flowers, 9 receptions, 132 yards, 22 points. Scary Terry, 6 receptions, 53 yards, and 2 touchdowns, 23 points. I'm ruining this trade. Freiermuth was the only player who doesn't, other than your kicker, go, and who cares? Double digits. It's 2 receptions, 16 yards. David Montgomery, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns, 21 points. Even the defense scores 14. Doesn't matter, like I said, that your kicker and your tight end score 3. Doesn't matter. It's 158 points. You put to bed Jordan Payne here in week 6, and you're just looking to now just keep the domination going. And Jordan, you lose in one place, and you're right back there in another. The fact that Josh Allen scores 24 points when you finally decide to bench him. Oh, fantasy, it wouldn't have made a difference, But I wish you luck, but you don't need it next week. We'll talk about it in tomorrow's episode. And Chandler, hey man, keep it going in week 7. If I could get through this episode without talking about Bourbon Bowl, I'd do it. I would go play Starship Troopers. I would go work on my college football skills. I would go read a book. I would stay outside and, enjoy my view and deal with the Evans shit smell from across Norman. I do not want to talk about this game, but the commissioner in me says you are a man of the people. And so, I will cover all of the action, including that in which I absolutely get screwed. I knew it was going to happen. I knew when Tyler Lockett was on my bench and scored 16 points, I was like, man, something's not right. Mark Andrews finally comes back to some semblance of fantasy relevance and on my bench. And I was like, man, this just doesn't smell right. And then the injuries. No, I mean, what are you going to do? At the end of the day, I'm technically without a number 1, a number 2, and my number 3 pick. I mean, you're just not going to win games. So we'll cover it. Kyler Murray gets absolutely smothered by Green Bay. 11 points. Hey, but Geno got 12, so that's all right. Chase Brown does all the work once Zach Moss goes out. He's on Jack's team. There we go. James Conner, six points, fumbles the ball. Not a great day. Just, not good. Marvin Harrison Jr., one of the first plays of the game, goes out with a concussion. Brian Thomas drops 2. That's when I really knew. It was like, okay, Brian Thomas watching, the Monday, the early Sunday game at 8:30 in London, and I'm like, okay, he's going to drop two passes in the end zone. Would have had over 20 points again, but drops 2 passes, and then Gabe Davis, of course, gets him. Just not good. Tyler Conklin, 3. Chris Olave catches the ball, concussion, fumbles the ball. Everything was right. Houston's defense, Chris Boswell. I mean, 15-17, but we talk about it when your defense and your kicker are the highest scoring players on the team, you're losing, and that's exactly what happens. I think I was the lowest. Oh, no, Jack. I would have beat Jack, who scored 61. That's it. Outside of that, I'm not beating anybody. Forrest Dozier, and Brock. 2, 0, and 5 teams going into this week would have beat me. That's how bad my season's going right now. So, thank God I got those wins in a row. I'm still sitting at 500. Mr. Grog, not trying to take anything away from you, even though I'd love to do that. Joe Burrow has a solid day, sir. Jerome Ford, bad day, gets injured, and they miss some time now, 1.4 points. Alvin Kamara, doesn't matter, scores, 1/3 of my points with 17. Garrett Wilson has another actually good day, but say goodbye to these numbers now that best friend Devonta Adams is coming to town. All that volume's going to go bye-bye, but hey, before it does, you score 24 points on me. Chris Godwin, who, definitely, I think, is kind of phasing out Mike Evans a little bit, and I definitely think that I think it's becoming the Chris Godwin show, but it's clear that in that offense, it's either going to be a Mike Evans day or Chris Godwin day. But I'm tending to lean more towards more often than not going to be Chris Godwin day. They really do. Baker and him have a great rapport. And it was shit. I mean, everything was bad. Tucker Kraft 3, Jerry Jeudy 4. I mean, and he had nothing. It was a late junkyard that he gets the 4.5. One reception. It was one reception for 35 yards. Cleveland's defense 9 and kicker 12. It's 127 points. Congratulations on winning yet another Bourbon Bowl. So, there you go. What are you going to do, man? At what point in time can you just sit here and say, it's not my fault, man? I mean, it's like I literally have no control. Everybody's telling, everybody, oh, Joe, what a great trade. Chris Olave, Mark Andrews. Yeah, well, I gambled. Mark Andrews, you could sit here and say, oh, Joe, he got 15 points. Why didn't you start him? Because 3 receptions, that's why. I mean, if he doesn't find the end zone, we're talking about a much different day. I still can't start him. There's just no way. And how can I how are both my starting wide receivers going to get concussions? Jonathan Taylor, the most mild high ankle sprain. He's he'll probably even play. Here we are. I'm gonna be talking about week 7, 30 weeks now. Still not playing. I mean, what are we doing? What communications are we sending here? Oh, man, like I said, I'm dead inside. Don't want to talk about this game anymore. We're moving on. There we go. Let's throw up the standings here after 5 weeks or 6 weeks. Oh, my gosh, 6 weeks here after 6 weeks of fantasy football. And like I said, Austin Allen, defending champion, at the top, number 1. Brennan Scala right behind him, number 2, and that will be an excellent game. Where you play, this is the one year, it's not like last year's and the many, many years before, since we're down from 16 to 14. So you will play everyone at least once, and the person you played at the very beginning of the year will be the person you play at the very end of the year. So for some of us, great, and for some of us, not so good. Me, not so good. But we'll burn those bridges when we get there. Like I said, our 2 6-0. So that'll be a great game. When they play in each other, we'll at least have only one undefeated team. But we imagine we'll have some more surprises. We got lots of football left. That's the important as we go over all this. We got lots of football. 10 more weeks of football. Jonathan Andrews sitting our lone 5-1. Derek Ash, Aaron Grog are 2 4-2s, and then everybody else 3-3. Jordan Payne, Chandler Taylor, myself, Evan Coles. Look at that, man. Evan all the way back up to the mid part of the table and tied for that 6th that coveted 6th playoff spot if it were to end today, but it's not. 2-4, our lone 2-4, Josh Johnson. 3 1-5s, Aaron Felch, Forrest Dozier, and Jack Little Raven. And last, but maybe not least, maybe, he's not forever unclean yet, is Brock Hudgens. Are we still calling him Dolphins 2.0? No? Too soon? Yeah? No? Didn't work out, did it, bud? That's why we don't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you for joining me for this Week 6 recap. Tune in tomorrow. We'll have our Week 7 review and break everything down before the Thursday night football game. It's fall break, or at least for most of us. I know maybe some of us had it the previous week, but at least I hope you're enjoying your fall break. If not, hopefully this is helping you getting through the week. The weekend's coming up, guys. Weekend's coming up. We got more games. Hold. Have a good one. Peace out.